In this video, we are going to be reviewing the RecoverFun pod with chiller cold plunge. And before we dive into it today, make sure that if you are looking to get in the best shape of your life and you are looking for more healthy hacks and product reviews, that you hit that subscribe button, tap that bell. We are putting out new videos all the time geared to help get you in the best shape of your life. With that being said, let's get into it. Hey, what's up? My name is Schuyler. I'm the founder of Reach Fat Loss and Fitness, where our goal is to help get you in the best shape of your life holistically and sustainably, doing it all without counting calories, without doing any strict dieting, and without stepping foot on a treadmill. Before we get into the RecoverFun review, I want you to go down below and grab your free copy of our Common Kitchen Upgrades Guide. This guide is here to help you reduce bloating, increase energy, and yes, lose weight without changing a single habit besides what you are putting in your grocery cart, and still eating the same food, still enjoying everything. These are very, very simple swaps, and if you go down below, you can get this for free. Now, the RecoverFun Cold Plunge Pod. In this video, we're gonna break this down into 4 different parts of the review. Number 1 is going to be the overview of the product. Number 2 is going to be the hardware and the setup. Number 3 is going to be about the pros and the cons. And then number 4 is going to be recapping my experience. So just an overview of the RecoverFun Cold Plunge Pod. So we've got a couple different parts here. If you are to go to RecoverFun's website, grab the pod by itself, you're looking at only $127. Of course, that would have to be an ice system where you're using the ice to chill the water. Along with that, if you are going to buy the chiller by itself, you're looking at $897. And if you are doing the full package, which is what we're talking about in this video, you can get $997 for both. Now, considering I've seen plunges in the vast upper range of that, way more expensive, this is definitely the lowest price option that I've seen with a plunge that comes with a chiller. Along with that, RecoverFun hooked you guys up, and if you are looking to save $50 on your order, you can use the code REACH at checkout. Now let's get into the hardware. So first of all, we have the pod. The pod itself has a super simple setup. Honestly, probably only took 5 to 10 minutes. You're looking at inserting the poles, you're looking at pumping up the outer rim with the hand pump, and basically with that, you are good to go. Along with that, you blow up the cover, and then you have something covering the plunge so you're not getting dirt inside. Along with the blow up cover, you also get a material to actually cover the entire rim of the plunge so that there's no tiny little specks of dirt or anything that gets inside. And it also keeps the temperature insulated, which allows the pod itself to either not use as much energy with the chiller or the ice that you put in to last longer. The pod also comes with a foot mat, which absorbs water. The pod itself is 29.5 inches tall, and you've got 6 layers of insulation and headrest support, so some pretty cool adds there. As far as setup of the chiller goes, it was probably a little bit more intense. Once you take the chiller out of the box, you gotta let it sit for about 24 hours to make sure that the air disperses correctly. After that, it still only took about 10 to 20 minutes to set up. So the directions are straightforward. You have the chiller, you have 2 tubes, you have the pump. The tubes have thermal insulation as well, so it prevents the water from heating up as quickly. And what I would just suggest is, as you're doing this, just make sure you have everything connected. You have the tube at the top, which is meant to shoot water into the tub, and then you have the tube at the bottom, which is meant to shoot water into the filter. What I will say is that after this was set up, there was some leaks of water coming from the tubes, but RecoverFun also provides some plumbing tape, so I just wrapped that up and you are good to go there. As far as electricity needs, so we're looking at about $10 to $30 extra a month to keep the pump and the chiller constantly going. That's not too bad from a plunging perspective, especially because you are getting circulating, you're getting filtering, so there's definitely the benefit there. The pump has a plug and the chiller has a plug, so you're gonna need 2 outlets to make this work effectively. And then, like I said, the pump has a filter too, so if there's any dirt or anything going through, the filter does filter it out. From there, it probably took about 20 to 30 minutes for me to fill up the pod. I don't have a direct hose to get into the pod, so I actually had to filter my shower water into a 5-gallon jug, fill that up, which took about 2 minutes for every jug, and then went outside and carried it out there myself. RecoverFun recommends that you update the water and you change and clean it every month or so. So assuming that you are showering beforehand and you aren't letting a bunch of dirt get in, I've used it for a month and I just swapped out the water and everything seemed to be working great. Once the RecoverFun was set up, the temperature that the chiller read was about 70 degrees, and I just left the chiller running overnight, and by the morning it was at the desired temperature. I definitely could have sped up that process by putting having ice in the water, but I wasn't in a rush, so it was no worry for me. As far as actual use goes, so there's a couple key things to keep in mind. So number one, make sure that when you're using the pod, you are turning off the chiller. The chiller has a safety feature intact, so where you're not gonna get shocked if you go in the water, but I'm assuming there's the possibility that this malfunctions, just like any other chest freezer chiller that you'd use when it's connected to electricity. Yes, there's a safety mechanism, but you can't guarantee that these are gonna work. So I just, out of habit, turn it off before I get in every single time. I had one time where I forgot about it, didn't turn it off, and I was totally fine. Then we get into the pros and cons. So pro number one, as far as options go, this is definitely more of the price conscious option. You're getting a high quality product. It's a very durable design. You've got your chiller that works very, very well, and you're only looking at $1,000, which most plunges are gonna be $3,000 and up. Second pro is you are looking at a pretty energy efficient unit. So like I said, you got about $10 to $22 a month for electricity use, and that's with it constantly running. Of course, any other plunge spot that you go to, you're gonna be paying upward of over $100 to $200 for a membership to use your plunge. So to have this at home where you don't have to drive anywhere, this is a great benefit, and the price isn't that bad. Another pro is that the unit itself is very, very portable. So of course, if you're lugging around the chiller, that's a different story, but to deflate the actual pod itself, you could be able to bring it anywhere and you could set it up within 5 minutes. Another pro is that it works. It works really great. It seems to have been very durable so far. It definitely cools the water. It definitely works as a plunge should. I've been doing it about 2 minutes every single night before bed, and I have slept incredible, and it's super, super convenient because like I said, I don't have to drive anywhere. Get in my bathing suit, go in the plunge, get out, dry off, get in bed, and it's really simple. And then the next pro is that the chiller is completely quiet. Right, as it's chilling the water, if you like put your ear up against it, you can hear a slight hum, but it is by no means gonna mess with your sleep, and yeah, it's super, super simple to use. Then we get into cons. So con number one is the top pump does actually typically shoot out of the water, so you're getting the sound of water going into the other water, so it kind of sounds like a stream. If I'm being honest, this is a pro for me, but it could potentially be a con for you, so I'm putting it in the con area, especially if you're sitting out by it and maybe you're on a video call or anything like that. It does sound a little bit louder with the water. I personally like it. I like the sound of the flow of water. It's right by my bedroom, so if I keep my door open at night, it comes right in. It sounds great. But I'm just gonna put it in con just in case you don't want that volume of noise. Con number two is there's been a lot of leaks at the connection points in the plunge. When I got it, pretty much every single point was leaking a little bit of water, just a couple drops here and there. Like I said, you can use that sealant tape and it works really, really well. I've had one that is a little bit tough on me, and when I do unplug the plug and it stops flowing the water through, it'll start to drip out the water. But I'm only really unplugging the pump when I am in it, so I'm using more of the still water. Otherwise, it's pretty much always running. And then in the case that I did want to unplug it for a longer period of time, each valve just has a part that you can turn it off to prevent the water from flowing in. So you're not going to be constantly leaking this water. Another con is really just if you're super, super tall. So if you're above 6-ish feet, I'd say you're not going to be able to get much higher than the shoulders. Probably not going to be able to do a head dunk or anything without water spilling over the edge. Just make sure when you are setting this up that you don't have the chiller directly next to the plunge, because you don't want a bunch of water overflowing and getting on the chiller. But I can comfortably, just sitting either cross-legged or with my feet on the ground and knees up towards my chest, can get into neck level and it doesn't overflow. I'm 5'10", so if you're that height, if you're a little bit taller, you should be totally fine. You should be able to still get a very good depth. Besides that, as far as my experience goes with this plunge, I've absolutely loved it. I've kept it anywhere from 39 to 42 degrees, and while it is still a little bit colder here in Arizona, so I can't exactly speak on how cold it stays when it's going to be 120 plus outside, it's kept it cold, it's worked really well, and I've been able to use it extremely effectively as a method to wind down before bed and get some really good sleep. I also have a membership at a cold plunge spot that has compression therapy and saunas and cold plunges, but I still use this every day. I still use my membership a couple times a week, and it's worked really well for me. And then as far as just the difference of, you know, the spot I go to, it's you're laying down in the plunge versus the pod, you're more sitting up. I don't think there's a necessary difference with this. There's a nice headrest. You can put your arms on the side if you want. It does work really well, but it's just something to take note of. If you're a person who really wants to lay down, this might not be the product for you. But that is my review of the RecoverFun cold plunge. Again, thank you RecoverFun for hooking us up with a discount code. You can use code REACH if you are buying either the chiller or the full set. it'll save you $50. I really am a big fan of cold plunging for the health benefits, not just better sleep, not just increased metabolism, but you just feel better when you get out of it. It really does set you up for a better day. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. As a reminder, make sure to go down below and grab your free Common Kitchen Upgrades guide. And if you have any questions or need anything, feel free to leave a comment below. But thank you so much. And of course, as always, make sure to eat smart, move more, sleep deep, and be grateful for this moment. I'll see you in the next video.